Okay, class, we'll wrap up with chapter 1 in this video and pick up on a little bit more about the theory of mind. Developmentally, children, they're not born with this capability, but by the time they're 3 or 4, they've developed the ability to understand people have different motivations and thoughts, beliefs than they do, enough so that they can even identify when people express their beliefs and they're false or that they're different than theirs are. An interesting thing about theory of mind that our authors bring up is that it appears that failure to develop this theory of mind seems to be one of the key factors with children that have autism. So they appear to lack that ability to understand the separateness of other people's minds and to learn how that they can, first of all, they're not getting that information, and then they're unable to use that in order to navigate their relationships, and they tend to not develop the same level of empathy as normal people. Okay, this is one of those human universals that we were talking about that kind of is an important piece to social interaction. So there have been studies by Waller and colleagues in 2008, as late as 2008, and then prior to that, Ekman in 1982 did studies trying to see if there are universal facial expressions for the emotions that we feel. And it turns out, yes, there are. So they've studied people around the globe, cross-culturally, in various different areas of the globe and different socioeconomic statuses. And they have concluded, several researchers have concluded that there are universal emotions. And we have the emotion of anger. And you can kind of see the eyes are closed down, the nose is kind of pinched in, and the mouth is closed as if to keep the stimulus out. You have contempt here, disgust. Contempt isn't really one of the primary universal facial expressions, because there's the primary expressions are just 6: anger, disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, and surprise. This isn't a great surprise. Usually they have a picture of somebody with an open mouth here, like but you can kind of recognize these universal expressions that they have found that everyone exemplifies when they're expressing these different emotions. And they've also shown that when they ask people to recognize what kind of emotions people are displaying through pictures or videos, that they are consistent in around the world, are consistent in identifying them as the same emotion. Another kind of interesting take on universal facial expressions and how we express our emotion on our face is that, you know, that's one of the ways we kind of read each other's moods and even thoughts about things. So it really does tie in with that theory of mind as well. And interesting take on this too is that when people are unable to move the muscles in their face so that they can represent these different facial expressions, they actually are unable to read other people's emotions as well. So when we speak to each other as social animals, We usually watch each other's face and emotions, or at least body language, and get a sense of what's behind what they're seeing, what is the tone, and what are the feelings they might be feeling. And when we make these different contractions of our muscles with our face, the person watching us tends to unconsciously do that as well, to kind of mirror those same muscular expressions. And there's kind of a feedback loop that goes to the brain then from those facial muscles that helps them to empathize and experience what that other person is experiencing. So it's a real good reason to really avoid Botox if you can, because they actually have done studies on frequent Botox users, and because their muscles are paralyzed and they can't make these universal facial expressions when they're feeling emotional, that when they're talking to other people, their muscles don't contract in the same way. And so that feedback loop is interrupted. Their brain doesn't get the information that they normally would from those muscles. It's called a facial feedback loop, facial feedback theory. Not part of our lecture for today, but we'll talk a lot more about universal facial expressions, or you'll at least read a lot about it when we get to chapter 6. So thank you for your attention, and this is my really first attempt at doing a video lecture, so I'll keep in mind any kind of feedback you have for me for any way that I can improve it, and I will look into correcting any kind of mistakes that I've got going. I notice I say a lot, and I'm not sure I can get rid of that, but I'll definitely try, and that might cut down on the length of these video lectures. Thank you so much.